The sound of a ticking stopwatch still fills the silence. 5 minutes. That's all it takes. 5 minutes to transform your practice, your body, your mindset. The same 5 minutes that didn't just change Bruce Lee's training forever, they defined it. But let's be honest. In a world saturated with complex workout programs and hour-long routines, the idea of a 5-minute training secret sounds almost absurd. What if I told you that in just 5 minutes a day, you could not only transform your martial arts practice and increase your flexibility, but fundamentally alter the way you generate speed and power, tapping directly into the distilled wisdom of the legendary Bruce Lee? This isn't a hyperbolic claim designed for clicks. This is the authentic, tangible story of a forgotten, yellowed leather notebooker, personal journal that changed everything for me, and holds the precise instructions to do the same for you. My personal obsession with martial arts began 2 decades ago. I was a restless teenager in a small, traditional dojo on the foggy outskirts of San Francisco. Like so many others, I wasn't initially drawn by the discipline or the philosophy, but by the impossible blur of movement I'd seen in Bruce Lee's films. His electrifying presence, his philosophical mantra of be water. My friend, struck a chord deep within me, a search for a truth that lay beyond rigid technique. For years, I chased that feeling, training relentlessly in various disciplines, accumulating techniques, yet always feeling a persistent, frustrating void. It was as if I was missing the master key, the subtle yet profound principle that elevated the truly extraordinary martial artists above the committed but plateaued practitioners. Then, last summer, the universe seemed to shift on its axis. My friend David, an unassuming collector with an almost mystical knowledge of martial arts history, called me. His voice, usually calm and measured, was vibrating with a frantic energy I'd never heard. "You need to come over. Now," he commanded, his voice barely a whisper. I found something incredible while helping clean out Wong's apartment. Wong, the name instantly held weight. He had been one of Bruce Lee's original students, in the late 60s, a quiet, enigmatic man who rarely spoke of his master, but whose every movement was an echo of Jeet Kune Do's fluid philosophy. I drove across the city, the setting sun casting long, dramatic shadows that seemed to mirror the anticipation building in my chest. When I arrived, the air in David's living room felt charged. He carefully, almost reverently, laid an object on the antique coffee table between us. It was a weathered, dark brown leather notebook. The pages were brittle, the edges softened by time, and the binding looked ready to disintegrate with a single rough turn. But what seized my attention wasn't the aged, was the handwriting. Precise, yet carrying an undeniable kinetic energy. It was the unmistakable, flowing script of the man himself. This was Bruce's. David finally breathed out, his voice thick with awe. His personal, day-to-day training journal. It covers the period just before Enter the Dragon. We spent the rest of the evening in a hypnotic silence, poring over every page, deciphering cryptic notes, crude anatomical sketches, and philosophical musings. It was an unfiltered window into the mind of genius. But amidst the hundreds of entries, one section was singled out, marked with a distinctive ink blot, and the single word, essential. It spanned 5 dedicated pages, meticulously documenting what Bruce called his essential preparation. It wasn't just a simple warm-up. It was a pre-training ritual, a psychophysical programming sequence, so detailed and deliberate that it was instantly clear. This was the foundational code upon which he built his legendary, almost unbelievable, speed, power, and fluidity. I began incorporating these movements into my daily routine the very next morning. The initial changes were subtle, a touch more depth in my lunges, a slightly less jarring impact upon landing a jump kick, a quicker heart rate recovery after shadowboxing. But after a solid month, the changes became impossible to ignore. My training partner started to comment. "Wait, what are you doing differently?" my head instructor asked, pausing a drill. Later, my sparring partner, a man known for his tight defense, looked genuinely stunned after I slipped a jab and landed a combination that weeks before would have felt like an impossible stretch. "You're smoother somehow," he said, shaking his head. "It's like you're not even fighting gravity anymore. By the time you finish this journey, you will not only know this complete 5-minute routine, component by component, but you will also understand the profound why behind its effectiveness, and how it perfectly embodies Bruce Lee's revolutionary, almost scientific approach to human movement and martial arts training. I will break down each of the 5 components, explain the philosophical principle Bruce embedded in it, and show you exactly how to integrate this system into your practice. Regardless of your style, discipline, or current experience level, the true genius of Bruce's preparation lies in its elegant simplicity and efficiency. He understood that preparation wasn't merely a physical process of heating up muscles, it was a neurological and energetic one. It was about programming your nervous system for peak performance, achieving laser-like focus in your mind, and awakening the body's innate, natural potential for flow. The 5 minutes before training, he had scrawled in the notebook's margin, a line that has since become my daily mantra, are more important than the 50 minutes of training itself. To truly appreciate this ritual, let me take you back in time. Imagine Hong Kong, 1971. Bruce Lee is on the set of The Way of the Dragon. The crew is milling about, the lights are hot, the cameras are set for a pivotal action scene. But Bruce makes them wait. He insists on his 5 minutes. He moves to a quiet, often overlooked corner of the set. He moves through a sequence that, to the untrained eye, looks deceptively simple, almost casual. What the crew and the world didn't realize they were witnessing was a powerful, condensed ritual, a personal alchemy that Bruce had meticulously refined over years of relentless self-expression. This is the exact ritual, the 5 components, that I'm about to share with you. Component 1. Dragon Breath Preparation. 60 seconds. Bruce's notes emphasized that all martial power, all truly spontaneous movement, is fundamentally initiated by the breath. It is the engine of the body's energy system. This first component focuses on this core principle. Standing in his iconic ready stance, feet shoulder width, a slight bend in the knee, the body poised, Bruce would close his eyes and begin a series of deep, rhythmic, natural breaths. Critically, this is not the forced, audible, or exaggerated breathing you might see in some forms of practice. It is a quiet, continuous, flowing breath that gradually deepens with each cycle. As I demonstrate the dragon breath, watch how the breath doesn't just inflate the chest. It initiates a subtle, slow wave of expansion through the entire torso. This process is about far more than oxygen exchange. It's about creating what Bruce termed whole-body awareness. You must feel your feet anchoring into the earth, the gentle but firm expansion of your ribcage, the subtle engagement of your deep core musculature. This is the essential foundation, the gentle but powerful awakening of your internal energy system. Component 2. Cat Stretch Series. 60 seconds. Bruce believed that true martial arts mastery was not about adding complexity, but about stripping away artificial tension and unnecessary movements until all that remains is natural, effortless expression. This warm-up embodies that philosophy perfectly. Following the dragon breath comes the cat stretch. Bruce was a keen observer of the animal world, recognizing the perfect, instinctive efficiency in a cat waking from sleep. That slow, undulating, full-body stretch seems to activate every muscle fiber, preparing it for instantaneous action. Bruce adapted this natural wisdom into a 1-minute sequence specifically designed to awaken and articulate the spine, what he considered the highway of energy in the human body. Let me show you the movement. Starting from a neutral, relaxed standing position, you initiate a gentle, wave-like movement. It begins subtly at the base of the spine, the tailbone, and travels upward, articulating vertebra by vertebra. The key is to avoid forcing anything. This is a sequence of release and awareness more than intensity. Bruce wrote, "Move as if your spine is a whip, uncoiling from base to tip. Each vertebra must articulate in sequence," creating what he referred to as the awakening of the dragon. In the notebook's margin, I found a simple sketch, a straight line with arrows flowing through it in both directions, like a two-way current. Beneath it, the spine is both structure and pathway. Free it first. Block the spine. Block the power. This single insight fundamentally revolutionized my understanding of force generation. For years, I had been trying to power my techniques solely from my limbs. Bruce showed me that all authentic martial power must originate and flow efficiently through this central axis. Component 3. Wing Activation. 60 seconds. The cat stretch flows seamlessly into the third component, wing activation. Bruce was captivated by the sheer mechanical brilliance of birds' wings, the instant transition from complete, relaxed stillness to explosive, directed power. This 1-minute sequence targets the shoulders, arms, and the intricate, often neglected network of connective tissues that seamlessly link the upper limbs to the power center of the core. The movements appear disarmingly simple. Circular rotations of the shoulders, starting small and gradually increasing in range. Gentle, relaxed pendulum swings of the arms, followed by more dynamic, fluid activations that gradually increase in speed and intensity. But the genius is entirely in the sequencing and focus. Bruce noted, joints before muscles, freedom before power. If the joints are locked, the energy cannot pass. I vividly remember the first time I executed this sequence with true focus. It felt like someone had flipped a switch inside my body. Suddenly, my punches and strikes had an entirely different quality. They weren't just physically stronger. They were profoundly connected. The energy seemed to flow unimpeded, a single, unified chain from my center mass, all the way out to my knuckles. Wang, Bruce's student, had added his own elegant observation in the margin next to this component. When Bruce performed these movements, it was like watching someone tune a perfect instrument. By the end, you could almost hear the perfect pitch of his body's readiness. There was no hesitation between thought and action. Component 4. Root development, 60 seconds. The fourth component shifts our focus downward to the grounding principle of root development. Bruce frequently spoke about the non-negotiable importance of rootedness in generating martial power. The power of a punch, he famously said, begins in the way the feet grip the ground. The fist is merely the destination of the power. This 1-minute sequence is meticulously designed to establish that vital, kinetic connection with the earth beneath you. It begins with what Bruce called rooting spirals, small, deliberate circular movements initiated at the ankles, which gradually and deliberately engage the knees and hips. You are, in essence, awakening the entire kinetic chain that connects your feet to your core. Feel how each rotation, performed slowly and with intention, seems to screw your feet more firmly into the ground. This isn't about creating muscular tension. On the contrary, it's about establishing the optimal, relaxed alignment that allows force to travel efficiently and explosively through your body. Bruce was years ahead of his time in his intuitive understanding of fascial connections, the sheets of connective tissue that modern sports science now recognizes as absolutely crucial for power transmission and injury prevention. Long before it entered mainstream knowledge, he instinctively grasped that the body does not move as a collection of isolated muscle groups, but as an integrated, fluid chain. The root development wires this chain for action. Component 5. Energy circulation 90 seconds. This is where the magic, the true integration of the system, happens. These 90 seconds are the crescendo, the final tuning of the instrument. Having meticulously awakened each segment of the body individually, breath, spine, upper extremities, and rooting, Bruce designed this sequence to integrate them into one unified, flowing, whole. The movements are flowing, spiral, and continuous. They travel organically from the grounding force, in your feet, up the awakened spine, and out to your fingertips, and then circulate back again. It creates what he called the circuit of power. As I demonstrate these final fluid movements, notice how there is no clear, distinct boundary between one body part and the next. The chi, or life force energy, flows continuously, unimpeded, spiraling from ground to sky. This is the desired state of readiness, a state of profound, relaxed focus that Bruce sought to achieve before every single training session, every film take, and every public demonstration. I've had experienced students tell me they feel almost euphoric, lightheaded, and intensely focused the first time they execute this entire sequence correctly, as if they've suddenly become aware of a powerful internal current they never knew existed. One student, Michael, a 45-year-old karate black belt of 20 years, told me with a look of genuine surprise, "It's like I've been driving with the parking brake on all these years, and now, suddenly, I'm free." Let me share just a few transformations. Meet Sarah, a professional MMA fighter, who integrated this 5-minute ritual into her pre-fight and daily training 6 months ago. "The difference is staggering," she says in a recent interview. "My coaches immediately commented on my fluidity, the almost frictionless way I move. I'm generating power with less effort, and recovery between rounds. It's on a completely different level now. It's like my nervous system is firing cleaner." Then there is James, a 67-year-old, who spent a lifetime in traditional martial arts, which left him with chronic stiffness and limited mobility. "I was absolutely skeptical," he admits, a gentle smile cracking his weathered face. 5 minutes. How could that possibly undo decades of accumulated tension and stiffness? But after just 3 weeks, I was moving in ways I hadn't been able to in years. My wife even tells me I stand taller, that I'm more present. These aren't outliers. They are consistent, measurable results that Bruce himself documented. In his notes, he wrote, "The body has infinite potential for freedom. Most limitations exist first in the mind, then manifest in the physical tissues. This preparation dissolves both the mental block and the physical tension." What makes this routine profoundly effective is that it doesn't merely prepare the body. Physiologically, it resets your entire system. Bruce's true genius lay in his understanding that peak martial arts mastery happens in the perfect, fluid integration of mind, body, and spirit. This wasn't mystical belief. It was practical, distilled wisdom born from thousands of hours of intense, deliberate practice and almost clinical self-observation. Looking back through his journal, there's a fascinating entry dated just weeks before the filming of Enter the Dragon. He writes, "The preparation has evolved again. 5 minutes now contains what used to take 30. Efficiency in all things is the signature of mastery." This was the core of Bruce's brilliance, his relentless drive to distill complex, universal principles into their most essential, powerful, and time-efficient form. The true beauty of this routine is not just its power, but its profound adaptability. Bruce understood that no two bodies are the same. Every practitioner brings unique strengths and limitations. In his notebook, there is a dedicated section titled Modifications for the Individual, where he outlines how to adjust each component based on your current flexibility, strength, and experience. For the absolute beginner, he suggested starting with just 30 seconds per component, emphasizing quality over duration. "Better to perform one perfect repetition," he wrote, "than 10 sloppy, mindless ones." If you are managing chronic injuries or physical limitations, Bruce emphasized the foundational principle: listen to your body above all else. The dragon breath can be performed seated. The cat stretch can be modified to work within your current, pain-free range of motion. The energy circulation can be slowed down or adapted to accommodate any physical restriction. The goal is flow, not strain. What struck me most personally about implementing this routine was how it changed my entire relationship with training. Before discovering Bruce's method, my warm-ups were perfunctory, a necessary evil to rush through before the real training began. But this 5-minute sequence became something I deeply looked forward to, a sacred, daily ritual that connected me not just to my body, but to the deeper, universal principles of flow and efficiency that Bruce embodied. 3 months after I first opened that weathered notebook, I found myself teaching a seminar on movement efficiency. As I demonstrated the routine to a room full of experienced martial artists, many of them black belts, I watched the skepticism drain from their faces, replaced by a sense of profound wonder. By the end of those 5 minutes, the entire energetic quality of the room had shifted. "I feel like I just woke up for the first time," one veteran martial artist whispered. That is precisely what Bruce intended, not just a physical awakening, but a complete activation of human potential. This routine is now more than a warm-up for me. It's a daily, silent reminder of what is possible when we approach practice with Bruce's mindset of constant refinement and profound, purposeful intention. Every morning, as I move through those 5 components, I am not simply preparing my muscles for the day. I am reconnecting with a philosophy that recognizes no separation between physical readiness and mental cultivation. But I want you to be clear, this isn't about venerating Bruce Lee or attempting the impossible task of becoming him. This is about discovering what he discovered: that the human body has an astonishing, untapped potential for freedom, power, and grace when we approach it with the right understanding, the right intention, and the most efficient methods. The 5-minute routine is simply the master key that unlocks that potential in you. I am issuing a challenge to you today, the 5-minute Bruce Lee challenge. For the next 30 days, commit fully. Commit to performing this complete, 5-component routine every single day. You must document your experience. Notice not just the physical changes in flexibility or power, but the subtle, profound mental shifts. Pay attention to how your body feels during your main training session, how you move through daily life, and how your overall awareness of your own potential shifts. Share your journey, your breakthroughs, and your struggles using the hashtag 5MinuteBruce. I want to hear your stories, see your progress, and learn about your discoveries. Bruce believed that martial arts was ultimately about radical self-expression and relentless personal growth. By sharing your experience, you contribute to a global community of practitioners who understand that true mastery starts with proper preparation. Some of you watching might still be thinking, can just 5 minutes really make this much difference? I understand the skepticism. I felt it too when I first held that notebook. But remember the source. This is not just any 5 minutes. This is 5 minutes distilled from decades of Bruce Lee's genius, his tireless experimentation, his scientific observation, and his relentless refinement. This is 5 minutes that contains the absolute essence of his approach to movement, power, and human potential. In the final poignant pages of his journal, Bruce wrote something that has stayed with me, resonating with powerful truth every day since I first read it. The successful warrior is the average person with laser-like focus. The preparation creates the focus. The focus creates the possibility. The possibility becomes reality through daily, consistent practice. That is the gift this routine offers you, not a miraculous shortcut, but a powerful, elegant daily practice that instantly creates focus, dramatically opens possibility, and, through consistent application, transforms your highest potential into a tangible reality. Whether you are a seasoned martial artist looking for that next level of refinement, a fitness enthusiast seeking more efficient preparation, or simply someone curious about the foundational methods of one of history's greatest movers, this routine meets you exactly where you are and efficiently takes you where you want to go. As we close, I want you to remember this profound truth. Bruce Lee's greatest gift to the world was not his physical abilities, undeniably impressive as they were. His greatest gift was his revolutionary, practical understanding that every single human being has the innate capacity for extraordinary development when they approach their body and their practice with intention, relentless consistency, and a mind that is constantly open to learning and evolution. The 5 minutes of transformation start now. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. Stand up, find a small space, and begin with the dragon breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your breath moving through your body. Feel your awareness expanding. This is precisely how profound transformation begins, not with overwhelming grand gestures, but with simple, purposeful action, repeated daily. Your journey with Bruce Lee's secret warm-up starts today. I can't wait to hear where it takes you. Remember to subscribe for more deep dives into Bruce Lee's training methodologies. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming video on his complete cooldown sequence. And, most importantly, begin your practice. As Bruce himself would counsel, knowing is not enough. We must apply. Willing is not enough. We must do it. The stopwatch is ticking. Your 5 minutes of personal transformation await.